Two-time Super Bowl champ and weekly guest here on Tiki and Tierney, the great Carl Banks. Carl, what's happening, buddy? How are you?
Good. Happy New Year, man. I got to say, Tiki, I've done some trips where I had to do a business trip and take a meeting and then come right back home.
Yeah.
But Australia and back, bro.
No, New Zealand. Yeah, same. It's
New
the same
Zealand. Same difference. Yeah, same distance. Difference. Oh my goodness, man!
I mean, the leaders are good to us, and so they had a marriage that
well,
I
get it.
Couldn't
you have stayed an extra day?
I could have.
Get your feet up under you.
I could have, Carl, but I wanted to be back and kiss my wife on New Year's, and so I got back. 8 minutes before the ball dropped. And
you are a true trooper. And I know she appreciates you for that.
No, she did. So did my girls who were there as well. Yeah. So it was awesome. Happy New Year to you, Carl.
Indeed.
How I don't want to say surprised, but think back to the beginning of the year. Are you surprised to see the Giants where they are with a shot at the playoff? Not even a shot. They're in the playoffs, but maybe a chance to even do something in the playoffs.
Pleasantly surprised. Yeah, because, I knew if you spend any time around Coach Thibodeaux and you just watch what they were doing, I would say after the first month of the season, you kind of knew it was going to be different. And how different, I've been on this show saying I don't think they're this year away from the Super Bowl, but I do believe that they are somewhat ahead of schedule, and they'll probably say we're doing exactly what we felt we could do. And I just think the connectivity of front office and coaching and the player buy-in has just been nothing short of great, because we've been around sports long enough, and Brandon, you have too, where you talk to coaches and they'll tell you, man, we got so many injuries. I don't know. We don't have enough good players, right? Our players stink. Our frontline guys are bad, and we don't have backups, and we're on our third backup. That's never been the excuse for this team. So what Joe Schoen has done in terms of getting what I call, and I don't mean it disrespectful, but they got scrap heap players that were sitting at home, by the trade deadline. They lost wide receivers. They've lost defensive backs. They have guys that weren't on the roster. And what Joe Schoen and his staff has done to provide Coach Thibodeaux and his staff with the type of players that they can put on the field and actually give them a chance to win is incredible. I mean, look, a lot of these guys were sitting there. A lot of teams had an opportunity to get them, and I'm sure they went through a lot of players. But the connectivity of what coaching wants and what personnel can provide to them is just incredible, because they didn't just give them players. They gave them the type of players, and these coaches will tell you, hey, look, we just need guys who can do what we ask them to do and be where they're supposed to be. We're not asking them to be all pros. But if that gives us a chance, because like I said, if you read the Carfax, you know what you got, right?
Yeah.
And we've already allotted for that. We've already discounted what we have. So just do this. We'll have a chance to have some success. And that's what they've been doing.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. You look at a guy like Isaiah Hodgins, who they knew from Buffalo. He's been on the roster for 8 games. He's leading the team in touchdowns with 4.
Yeah.
So you talk about the scrappy guys. But it's interesting, Carl, because I felt like there were going to be some games that the Giants just were going to be completely outclassed. Now, it happened once against the Eagles. They just got destroyed. But that's really it. I mean, are they in some ways fortunate, because the league has been very topsy-turvy this year, right? There really hasn't been a ton of standout teams. And so a team like the Giants, who are scrappy, play one-possession games, limit possessions for the other team, don't make a ton of mistakes, they can win in that kind of environment.
Absolutely. And we always know, we hear the saying and we know it to be true, more games are lost than won.
Yep.
Right. So if they just focus on the little things, which they've been doing week in and week out, and giving themselves a chance, like a big field, this defense is going to struggle. But when the field shrinks and they can condense it, you see they play really good red zone defense, right?
Yep.
It's going to be feast or famine with Wink the Wizard. I mean, it's only so much he can do. He can blitz them, but sometimes they don't get him covered because he doesn't have the personnel. But if you can't cover them, be able to tackle them. And that's what they do. You'll see these 30-yard, 40-yard, even 65-yard plays. Get the guy to the ground, we can play from here. And that's, play to play. Like you said, it's from series to series with this team to give themselves a chance.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. We're talking to Carl Banks, two-time Super Bowl champ. So, Carl, you've been a very ardent defender of Jones really all over the years. I mean, you'll have a little fun with some trolls on social media. So, why have you been, what was the impetus behind you always remaining so steadfastly behind him? You never really wavered. Why?
Because he has the requisite skill set to be an NFL quarterback in today's NFL. He has the intelligence and the toughness. And from the minute he walked through the door, if we looked at the quarterback landscape, we got the opinions of those who live in fantasy football world where numbers matter, right?
That's a good point.
Or you have the opinions of those who have focused on the 5 great quarterbacks in the league. So if you got 5, and then you've got another bulk of quarterbacks that if he can be as good or better, he's going to be good for your football team. He's a player. He can get you to the playoffs because he has, number one, the skill set. He's got the height, weight, speed. He's got the intelligence. He's got the toughness. He's not 6'1". He's not 5'9".
Yeah.
He doesn't struggle throwing over the line of scrimmage. You don't have to move him just so that he can see. You don't have to move the entire pass scheme so that it's on one side of the hash so he can see everything at once. He has the whole field. So when you have that and he's not, mentally immature, then you got a good chance with this guy.
Yeah.
So fumbles you can fix, right?
Yeah.
Turnovers you can fix, especially if he's smart. And that's what Daniel Jones is. So while everybody was focusing on the 5 great quarterbacks that are in this league, what are the other teams doing with their guys? Some of them are mediocre. Some of them are look, Baker Mayfield, say what you want. He's resourceful. He figures it out, but there are certain things he can't do. But he is, a guy that is giving a team life when they lost Matthew Stafford. So what are we looking at? Are we looking at the 5 great ones? No. Is he there? No, he's not there. But he is an NFL quarterback and one that has a ton of upside.
Yeah, and he's one that's going to have a big bag coming his way, maybe $35-40 million. He's about to get paid.
Well,
listen, this is going to
as Fat Joe says, yesterday's prices are not today's prices.
There you go. This is going to sound blasphemous at the outset, but I would encourage everybody to roll through the entire question before you start harpooning me, because I realize it sounds crazy at the outset here. Can you make a case, because you just detailed what's in his tool bag, the size ratio, all the things you just said, right? Can you make a case just based on talent, not resume accomplishment, pure talent, that Daniel Jones is the most talented Giants quarterback of all time?
Oh, if we talk skill set.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Well, he runs faster than Phil, and he runs faster than Eli. He's more mobile than Eli.
He's bigger in some regard.
Bigger.
Yeah.
He might not be faster than Tyrod Taylor. Skill set. If you had to build it in a lab, sure. I don't know if his arm is as strong as Phil Simms, but
or Kerry Collins. Kerry Collins had
a cannon. Yeah.
But ultimately, you got to have the success, and I think that
accomplishments are what matters.
Well, it's an intangible, right? Because you look at Eli when nobody was saying Eli's going to be this unbelievable postseason player. Yet he's an unbelievable postseason player. Even the game down in Miami that Green Bay that they screwed up because of the trip to Miami the week before. Eli was really good. As you think, because we've talked a lot about this last week, this Week 18 game against the Eagles. How should they play it? I'm saying, don't deviate from what you've done all season. Play it to win it. Play it hard. Not worried about injuries. Not worried about all those things that the risk because you're locked in. This team needs to continue to get better. Play it hard. How do you look at Week 18 for the Giants against the Eagles?
You're not wrong, but they're going to coach it to win it, and the players that are out there are going to get the same game plan as they get every week. but you're not going to put your best guys out there at certain positions. You can't sit everybody, Tiki.
Why not?
I mean, they dress 43, and you can't sit all 22. So there's going to be starters on the field. I'm not putting Daniel Jones out there when I have Tyrod Taylor.
Is that right?
Wow. I'm not.
Oof.
I am not. Now, I'm speaking for me. If it were me, I'm not putting Saquon out there when I have two other really good running backs that I can put out there.
Breed and Brightwell, but they're different.
Yeah, and Gary Brightwell gives you the type of runs that Saquon gives you. He's a jump cutter. He's an explosive kid. Obviously not Saquon, but you run the same offense. But you have to do what's in your best interest right now. And your best interest is saying, let's get more healthy. I think we are who we are. We read the Carfax, folks. We know what we have under the hood.
Yeah.
So
but Carl,
it's not going to get better.
But respectfully, Carl, what you just said is it's one thing to get guys who aren't fully healthy. It's quite another to sit guys who are fully healthy to sit like Daniel Jones. Danny's got to play.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, he does.
You have Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah.
Evan Neal's probably not going to play because he's still on the mend.
Mm-hmm.
Saquon Barkley has a shoulder issue. Do you want him to take extra pounding when you can, depending on what your draw is in the playoffs, your chances of winning a playoff game could be pretty good. I think they'd feel pretty good playing Minnesota.
Yeah.
Because there's some familiarity there.
Yeah,
right?
they know what game plan
already.
already. Yeah, they know what game plan already. San Francisco's a different story.
It's a different story. You gotta have more than a lot of healthy players. You got to do a lot of things right against the 49ers, and you've got to be able to expose their quarterback, and they do a pretty good job of insulating him. But yeah, I'm not sure. Defensively, you're not going to see Leonard Williams probably. Dexter Lawrence you may see for a preseason half.
Don't you worry about I don't know. I hate the preseason end of regular season mentality because don't you end up taking the week off in your mind and it kind of stunts you a little bit? Flipping the switch is hard. Flipping the switch is hard.
No, it's not. Depends on who's coaching you, right?
Yeah.
Now this is a trust and maturity thing. You'll get these lectures from coaches. They'll sit down the guys that they are going to rest.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll have these conversations. Look, this is a week off from you. I expect you to go hard in practice. I expect you to do X, Y, and Z. I expect you to prepare for this game. In fact, I'm going to dress you. You're not going to be in street clothes. So my plan is not to play you or to play you limited, but I need you to prepare like you're going to play this entire game. Everybody who's healthy and eligible to play will dress. That doesn't mean that it's just like preseason. They don't put them in street clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that, Carl. I disagree with you.
I get it, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
You if your goal was to get in the playoffs and not try to win it, then go play your guys. If your goal is to, now that you've earned a spot in the playoffs, come in there guns blazing, healthy as can be.
Mm-hmm.
Other teams may not be able to do that.
I got you.
The Giants don't have a rhythm problem. They don't have the Dallas Cowboys. There's debate, right? Because they just seem out of sync.
Yeah, they look like two different teams on two different days.
Correct.
Yeah.
The Giants are the same team every Sunday.
That's a good point.
They have a plan. They go out. So they're not struggling to find what they are. They haven't underperformed. They are basically whatever the governor is on that engine, they get to the top speed, and that's where they are.
Yeah, it's foot to the metal, man.
Yeah.
So Carl, we got to start rolling here, but I got to throw this by. Obviously, the Thibodeaux stuff with Jeff Saturday and Nick Foles. Listen, we all remember watching you play. and you were, business. You make a big play. You weren't about the self-glory. You guys certainly weren't about the choreographed routines back then, the dance routines. It's the modern athlete's different. It's all good. Yeah. I didn't have an issue with what Thibodeaux did. I feel as if you had a little issue with Jeff Saturday. We have to get you guys in the octagon? I mean, you got a little beef with Jeff Saturday?
No. I listen. It was just kind of the juxtaposition of it all, where he saw that and, his player took a forearm to the quarterback's head, which is clearly illegal. He didn't have to like the celebration. And listen, given the optics, he was laying next to a guy that was on the ground, and Kayvon didn't know that. So I had no problem with it. It's not what I do. But, and then the other part of it on the sideline, nobody saw that unless the TV put it on.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Nobody even knew that. Now everybody's clutching their pearls, but listen, he wished the quarterback well. He didn't go out to hurt the quarterback, clearly. And look, the celebration is what it is. He does it after every sack, or some form of celebration, and that's today's marketing of NFL players.
Hopefully we see about 100 more snow angels from him during his time here at the G-Men. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Well, listen, Carl, great to have you on. Happy New Year, by the way. And great to have
Happy New Year. Thank you, man.
Thank you. And great to have the energy back with the G-Men. It's been a minute, but let's see where the ride takes us. They usually are a little unpredictable in a good way.
Thing.
Go ahead.
The Giants fans were phenomenal
this
year.
They were.
They literally made MetLife Stadium their home and not a Airbnb that they rent out after Halloween.
I saw you tweet
and hats off to the Giants fans.
I saw you tweet. That's a good line. It was an Airbnb for too long. Hey, come and make yourself at home. There's our bed. There's our 70-inch TV. There's the nice shower. There's the hot tub. There's the fire pit. Giants are on their way back. Good stuff, Carl. Thanks, buddy.
Appreciate you, Carl.
Appreciate it.
See you soon, man.
The great Carl Banks disagreeing with Tiki.
Yeah, I mean,
putting you in your place.
Different philosophies.
He said you're wrong.
Different philosophies. I want to see DJ, man.